It's hello and good evening from the Lion City, wherever you're watching us from in Southeast Asia. Singapore says hello to you from the new state-of-the-art Kallang National Stadium. The final game of the opening matches in the 2014 Suzuki Cup, and it's a landmark moment as we're about to witness the first ever Suzuki Cup game to be played indoors, almost indoors, as they've got the roof closed in this spanking new stadium, and it is a mouth-watering tie as well. A meeting of the finalists of the last Suzuki Cup final. They step out onto the furnace, Singapore and Thailand. The team with the most titles against the team with the most wins. Two teams who've got the best winning percentages in Suzuki Cup history. It's always a statistician's nirvana when the Lions and War Elephants cross swords. Thailand will come into this tournament knowing that they are hot favorites, having achieved what they did qualifying for the Asian Games semi-finals. 3/4 of that squad is right here, but Singapore have slowly broken Thailand hoodoos and barriers through the years, and scoring a goal is so essential this time, because every time they've scored against Thailand, they haven't lost. Sahil Suhaimi has given his first Suzuki Cup start alongside Ismadi Mokhtar and Faris Ramli, also making their Suzuki Cup debuts, but Sahil's form is all the more important because he'll have to take the goal-scoring burden away from Sharil Ishak, the captain who was voted the best player at the last Suzuki Cup. For Thailand, this is their 50th game in the Suzuki Cup, and they'll be chasing for their 30th victory. They've never lost an opening match before and have sent their youngest team ever to an ASEAN Football Championships with an average age of just 24. Just 2 of these players in the starting 11 played against Singapore in the 2012 second leg final. Kirati Kyaosumbut is one of them, and the other is their captain and goalkeeper, Kawin Tapsachanan. The official today is from Iran, Fakhani Alireza Mohammad, and he'll be assisted down the lines by his fellow Iranian Mansouri Mohammad and Kim Yong-ha of Korea. Well, they've won their last 2 home games against Thailand in the Suzuki Cup in 2007 and 2012. As I said earlier on, every time they scored against Thailand, they've never lost. For the Thais, it is so much so that the odds are forever in their favor whenever they come into the Suzuki Cup, but they haven't won it since 2002 when their current coach, Kyatisuk Sinamwang, was the captain of the side. So he might be the last player to have lifted the cup, and he'll be the first after that as manager to do so. He is aiming to become the first player come manager to win the Suzuki Cup. He surprisingly left out Chanatip Songkrasin, their star player. There he is, Bernd Stange, the first German to coach a Singapore side and the 4th foreigner to guide Singapore in the Suzuki Cup after Jan Polter, Barry Whitbread, and the famous Radi Avramovic. To his left, to the right of your screen, is Aidi Iskandar, who is the owner of 2 Suzuki Cup titles, 3 in fact. He lifted them thrice, and he's been involved in 6 Suzuki Cups, something that Baihaki Kaizan and Sharil Ishak would achieve with their appearance in this tournament. Khairul Amri, the number 19 that you see on your screen there, he scored 7 Suzuki Cup goals. He's the 3rd highest Singapore goal scorer in Suzuki Cup history, and Singapore have never lost when him, Sharil or Baihaki Kaizan have scored. The class of 2000, the likes of Hassan Sani, Baihaki Kaizan, Khairul Amri and Sharil Ishak from the Center of Excellence in Singapore. Well, in case you're tuning to us from other parts of Southeast Asia, they do have Center of Excellences here. These 4 players graduated from 2000 and they predicted big things for them. And here, 12 years, 14 years later, they are representing their national side as the key players. Despite the fact that they're young, they're 24 years of age, sometimes the fearlessness and exuberance of youth might do the trick for Thailand. He's decided to weave out a couple of those bad apples and decided on the squad that has taken him to glory in the Southeast Asian Games, which Kyatisuk won a gold medal after a long wait. And then at the Asian Games, they came so close to qualifying for the 2016 Olympic Games when they finished 4th. There he is, 41 years of age. He has scored 5 goals against Singapore in his career. It's a decorated career of 5 Suzuki Cups. 3 of them have ended up in triumph. And he's never lost in the Suzuki Cup when he's played Singapore at the National Stadium in Singapore, and he's hoping that that luck continues and that streak continues as coach. Singapore in red, Thailand in blue. Singapore have only lost 1 match in the opening game of the Suzuki Cup, and that came in 2002 against Malaysia by 4-0 at the National Stadium. So a test on the new pitch. If you haven't been following in Singapore, of course, huge scrutiny that the pitch has been under in this national stadium. Thailand might be new to this pitch, but Singapore too themselves haven't really played a lot in this pitch. Early touch for Sahil Suhaimi, does well to turn around his marker. That's really good play by the young Lions forward, only to lose the ball almost immediately. Sharil Ishak comes storming right in and berates his teammate straight away. guides from the front and tells Sahil, once you get past one of your players, remember to release the ball as soon as possible. Sarach Yuyen, one of those youngsters, 22 years of age, who plays for Muang Thong in the Thai league. Very, very classy player he is, running the center of midfield. Aside Thai centre backs can be had. Adisat goes all the way back to Kawin, a goalkeeper who had a stellar Asian Games. In fact, he went into the semi-finals as just one of 2 goalkeepers not to have conceded in that tournament. He's got the best goals conceded record ever in the history of the Asian Games, the second best, after his trip where he was also the flag bearer of the Thai contingent. Mistake from the Thais. It's a very nervous start for them, especially PHAT, the left full back, Haris Haron, having to go all the way back to Safwan Barudin. Early touch here for Saiful Isa, trying to release them and get them underway. It's Khairul Amri who couldn't get at the end of that pass. Haris once again, the guardian angel of the defensive 4. Mistake from Haris. Pass that was picked up very quickly by Thailand, and this is where they can be so very dangerous. Shapui trying to invite Kokrit to bomb forward as soon as possible. Ball goes out. Does it ask touch a Singaporean or a Thai? The assistant referee signals a goal kick. So these 2 players will be testing the pitch out, and they'll be testing themselves out as much as possible. Khairul with his 7 goals. 2 of them have come against Thailand, and both in Suzuki Cup finals. One the last time out 2 years ago, and the other, of course, was in 2007 when he scored virtually the winning goal of that competition, the equalizer with 9 minutes to go in Bangkok. Hassan Sani appearing in his 4th Suzuki Cup. He started all games in 2010, missed the last one through injury, and he's the current S-League Player of the Year. He's much better with his goal kicks than that one. They gotta be careful. Ismati Mokhtar making his debut in the Suzuki Cup. He'll turn 31 last December. The last thing he needs is a birthday reminder of a mistake in a game against Thailand, a game of such magnitude. Once again, the referee gets in the way right now. He wants to play a little bit and wants to test out the new National Stadium pitch as well. Haris Haron trying to launch one forward, looking for the pacey runs of Khairul Amri and Sahil Suhaimi. Was the former who couldn't get to the ball that time. Bernsteiner preaches a patient approach, easy on the ground, making sure that they don't hit those long balls, but he wants a pressing game as well from his forwards. Sharil Ishak almost stealing it after another loose pass by a nervous Thai team. Well, sometimes it gets to you if you haven't won a tournament for a long, long time. 12 years since they've lifted the Suzuki Cup. The pressure is even more. Clearance just easily picked up once again. Quick 1-2 worked out between Shadan and Khairul Amri. Saiful Isa has possession of the ball. Faris Ramli, who can be a real falcon, running at the defense, wins a free kick. Good early start here by Singapore, and a very nervous one from Thailand. Mongkon guilty of that. Very late challenge being thrown in by the number 11 on Singapore's number 11. Faris Ramli, who scored 5 goals this season for his club side, Lions 12. It's a Singapore club side that plays in the Malaysian League. It's his best ever returns in a season in his playing career. Shadan Sulaiman with the free kick, easily headed away. All the Singapore players had gone deep inside. Thailand decided to defend the perimeter. And the pass outside from Bayaki Kaizan was a poor one. So they've camped themselves in the Thai half for the opening 10 minutes of this match. Thailand are a team who've scored more first half goals than any side in the Suzuki Cup history. 58 of their 112 goals that they've scored in the Suzuki Cup have come in the first half. And they'll hit you when you least notice it. Haris Haron stealing the ball away yet again. It comes off the Singapore number 14. That'll be a throw to Thailand. Tentative. Kyatisuk knows all about starts in Suzuki Cup. He was playing in 1996. 7 of their goals were scored in that tournament in the opening 15 minutes. That's the only stat we have for you in 2014 so far. Just a foul given away by Thailand. Kokrit, the ball easily outside to a PHAT. Invited to storm forward Pravyut. And that's a very good ball that's played through for Adisak. Taken away just as quickly. Sarach Yuyen, in fact, had possession of the ball. Ismati Mokhtar abandoned his position momentarily, but got back in time to ensure that no damage was done from that. And it's poor control inside the box by Kirati Kyaosumbut. Goal kick to Singapore. Still nothing to show for. Kirati, who scored 3 goals at the last tournament, having to shoulder most of the goal-scoring responsibilities, although they do have Adisak Kraison on the bench to come on and partner him whenever it need be. Adisak had a superb Asian Games outing. Pass once again from the back, and not very good from Singapore. Not accurate at all. It's just been missing their midfielders. Adison Promrak easily picked out by Saiful Issa. It's much better control. There's a beanbag of a right foot right then. Did well enough to win it back. Sharan Sulaiman. By Haki. Ismaidi. It's almost a 50-50 ball to Haris Harun, who doesn't shirk in those challenges. Haris Harun. He's got the crowd going. Sharil says to Ismaidi Mota, try to attack this. Ismaidi doesn't. Sliding challenge by Pirapat Nochaya. Left full back, who's got a very nervous start, and that'll do his confidence some good now. All the way back to the quarterback position that Sharan Sulaiman is occupying, side by side with Haris Harun. One destroyer, one creator in the nerve center of the Singapore midfield. Sharan, Sharil. Oh, Sharan just didn't have the pace to latch onto that. Idea was right though. Haris Harun keeps the ball for Singapore. Khairul Amri weaves around one, not the other. Referee says get up, no free kick. He was side by side with the play. Kirati by Haki Kaizan. This time it is a free kick for Thailand. By Haki, can't believe it. 6 Suzuki Cups now, over 100 appearances for his country by Haki. Against a player who scored just as many goals as by Haki has in his Suzuki Cup history. Just the 3rd tournament for Kirati. Kelsombut scored against New Zealand. They had some very impressive wins in their friendly matches. Thailand 3-0 against the Philippines, 2-0 against New Zealand just 7 days back. So their build-up for the Suzuki Cup has been very good. Adisak gets the ball back, still Adisak trying to weave his way around Pirapat. Ismaidi Mokhtar stood his ground and made sure that the angles were covered. Otherwise, a cross inside behind the defense would have spelled trouble, because Sharil Shapui had gone up to join Kirati inside the penalty box. It's poor defending by Haki Kaizan. It's an opening goal, and Thailand have scored it. By Haki Kaizan went to sleep. The ball was slammed right back across, and Mongkon Tosakan has scored the opening goal for Thailand, and the opening goal of Group A, or Group B should I say. Kati Suksinamong and his charges absorbing early pressure, and you can't defend that way from a throw-in. It's a basic error from Singapore's most experienced defender. He allowed the ball to bounce, he was sucked right into it. There's no offside from a throw, and then the ball just slammed right across. No way around. Even if Saiful Issa had gotten in the way, he might have diverted it back into his own net as well. Thailand draw first blood. Prakit Diprom with a slammer of a cross. And the tap-in of the goal. Mongkon didn't know too much about it. All he knew was that the net shook, and Thailand have taken the lead. It's the first time that they've taken the lead in Singapore since 2002. That match finished in a 1-1 draw. Well, it's quiet and snipered the crowd, that's for sure. And they are a team that know how to balance a lead pretty well as well, the War Elephants. Singapore trying to find a way back. Just don't know what has hit them. After playing quite well, despite not being incisive enough, here they are, trailing by a goal. Thailand have won 72% of their matches in the Suzuki Cup after scoring the first goal, but they did lose 3 times though. One as recently as 2010. So that gives Singapore some confidence in storming right back. Long searching ball. Just couldn't find the flying falcon in Faris Ramli. And after conceding the first goal, Singapore have won only 3 matches in the Suzuki Cup, although the last time they conceded the first goal in a group match, they did win. That was in 2012, and they beat Laos by 3-2. Onside, says the 4th official. Saiful Issa, ball just thrown right inside there. It's no use throwing darts inside the penalty box. You need to get players there to feast on it. Shahdan Sulaiman has had a very steady start to the game. Not the best of touches from Sahil Suhaimi. No foul, says the referee, so he comes storming forward. Sahil, Khairul. Snatched at his attempt. Had no time at all to wait with Adison side by side with him. And Prawiwat also in close watch. Well, they've just walked through their paces in the opening 11 minutes. Next thing you know, they've got a goal to their name. Another first half goal for Thailand in the Suzuki Cup. And now they can take their time and build. Swagger, which was missing. They looked very tentative, as you'd expect from a bunch of youngsters. Just trying to get themselves in control of their emotions and the pitch. Now maybe the swagger will come out. Ball's gone out of play. Arisa Kraison just couldn't control it. They do have explosive wingers, which Singapore have to watch, and it's a position that they'll have to be in because they're a team that's built on the counter-attack. Saiful Issa. It's needlessly given away. Sharil Shapui. Mongkon, the goal scorer. Kirati. Still Kirati. Trying to shape an angle up for the shot. Happy to go back to Mongkon. Runner outside Krokrit. It's going to be a corner, is it? No, a goal kick. Defended well enough. Well, Singapore have lost against Thailand at home only once, and that came in 1996. Kiati Suksinamwang was in the squad that day. 1-0, was 0-0 at half-time. The only time in the Suzuki Cup these two sides have met that they went off 0-0 at half-time. Netipong Sritongin was the goal scorer that day. It's an adventurous ball that's just knocked right across. As I said earlier on, no use just throwing darts inside the penalty box. No one's down there to feast on it. Bounce of the pitch beating Kirati. It's a little bit of a Singapore flavor for Kirati. A new experience for him. Shahdan Sulaiman. Back to Baihaki. Basic schoolboy error. Gave away the first goal. Mixed emotions for him, of course. He was the man who practically scored the winning goal in the last Suzuki Cup final. They built it well down here, Singapore. They've worked a passage right through, but because their centre forward Khairul Amri has just been left and vacated in order to support Shahdan Sulaiman in the build-up play, there wasn't anyone behind him. Here's Haris Harun. Once again, they try to hit one behind the Thai defense. Exactly. Oh, I tell you what. Khairul's asked for a free kick on the edge of the box. Even a penalty from the referee. He's waved it away. It's going to be a corner, the first of the match for Singapore. Now the third goal that they scored against Thailand in the 2012 final in Singapore came via a corner, and Baihaki Kaizan scored that one. So he's gone right up there to try to make amends for that early error. Saiful Issa, cultured left foot king of the set piece situation, floats this one in near post. Easily headed away and easily defended though. Needed much more elevation in that corner. Taking no prisoners with that challenge right inside there. Adison Promrak. Is that a foul? Looked as if that way. A bit too physical on Sharil Ishak then. gone right back inside the penalty box now. Haven't seen Shahril Ishak touch the ball much, playing in a more withdrawn role in this match, rather than his centre forward role which he played at the last tournament. This one's hit way too long. Kirati by Haki in a chase for the ball. Is that going to be a free kick for Thailand? The answer is yes. By Haki has not had a very good start to the 2014 Suzuki Cup. Mistake for the goal, and now caught for pace against Shahril Shapui, hauling the Swiss-born Thai international down. And he gets a yellow card for that effort. There we go. Once there's a turn, you can catch by Haki for pace, and Shapui almost did. Well, it looked innocuous. A little harsh to give him that yellow card. Smadi Mokhtar. Clearance easily dealt with by the Thais. Much more composure from them, and they decided to play the ball around much better now. Trying to snake their way through. Oh, defense all over the place yet again, and Kirati couldn't take advantage of it. So very dangerous, the War Elephants, when they come forward. Once the ball was played inside the box, he had options, whether you wanted to shoot or he had players to lay it off to as well. Have a look at this. Mongkon right outside of him. If he had let the one run through his legs, Mongkon would have been right there with another opportunity right in front of the goalpost to strike. Not the best of touches from Khairul Amri. Sharan Sulaiman wanted a lot more running in front of him in order to give him some options. Mongkon, still Mongkon, no foul. Referee side by side with the play. Mongkon pulls up with an injury. Haris Haron, is he going to put the ball out of play? The answer is yes. And the goal scorer goes down with an early injury. So Thailand lead by a goal to nil here in Singapore. The 56th meeting between these two teams. Thailand have won 28 of the previous 55. Singapore have just won 11. 16 of them have been draws. And this man, the number 11, is hoping to make it 29. Although in the Lion City, 11 meetings between these two sides, it's been split. Singapore winning 4 of them, Thailand winning 4, and there have been 3 draws. As I said earlier on, Singapore have only lost to Thailand once at home in the Suzuki Cup. That was in 1996. Kiati Suk, part of that squad. He's had 5 goals that he scored against Singapore in his career, including his last 2 international goals in the 2006 Kings Cup. Wanted Fagani, the referee, to be a little more by his side that time. Safwan. Saiful Issa. Oh, it's a delicious ball played in, and the equalizer for Singapore. That man yet again, Khairul Amri. 8 goals now in the Suzuki Cup, and it comes from quite a sumptuous delivery from Saiful Issa. Killer Khairul strikes again against Thailand. Absolutely magnificent. It's got the German Stange off his feet. So too the assistant coach Aidi Iskander. And Khairul Amri, so many times through the years they've relied on him, and he's scored those important goals. 3 in the last tournament, and he's opened his account in 2014. And this can only be good for Singapore, because as I've said at the start of the broadcast, Singapore have never lost a Suzuki Cup match when Khairul Amri has scored. And he has scored. Deceptively good in the air, Khairul Amri. 3 of his 5 goals he notched up for his club side, the Lions 12 this season, came from his head. And he used his head right. And Cowan must be feeling sick in his guts, because he hasn't done anything at all throughout this match. And Singapore have never really penetrated the Thai defensive line. And 9 minutes after conceding that opening goal, they've got the equalizer, and they've got the stadium back on their feet. And in full unison yet again. We have a football match here. By Haki. Saved by his good friend Khairul Amri. Sharil Ishak, his other good friend, taken out. No foul, says the referee. Nguyen wants the ball played back to him. Instead, Adisak goes long. Here is Adisak. Feints the cross. Ismadi Mokhtar bought it. Oh, deflection almost diverted it all the way into goal. Well, both goalkeepers haven't had a save to make yet, and they both picked up the ball from the net already. Krokrit with a corner. Using to swing the ball right in. In the end, it's a very disappointing cross. If it wasn't alert enough from the Singapore defense, they might have profited from a very lucky cross that's being put in. They want offside. Referee says no. Chance to snatch the lead right back. Trying to find the angle for the cross. Tighter defense this time around. Sharil Ishak having to come back from his attacking midfielder responsibilities just to help his defensive four out. Halfway through the first. It's Thailand now trying to snatch the lead back with their second consecutive corner. Prakit, another disappointing cross. Sharil, anywhere would do for him, that was his idea. And it almost turned into a good pass for Sahil Suhaimi. Shadan asked to get onto the ball with Nguyen. Sarat Nguyen, no problem at all defending. Wasn't the best of return passes for Shadan Sulaiman. Khairul Amri scored now in 4 editions of the Suzuki Cup, and that puts him up there in elite company. Only few other players have scored in 4 editions of the Suzuki Cup. No Alam Shah, Waterwood Srimaka, Lehyun Duk, Kurniawan Dwi Yulianto, Kyati Suk himself. Can't even score in 4 editions. He's only got it in 3. So Khairul Amri becomes only the 5th player in Suzuki Cup history to score in 4 different editions. And here he is looking for another one. That's a lovely layoff to Faris Ramle. Cowan dropped it. Wasn't happy with the treatment by Sharil Ishak. 2 captains embracing. So Sharil had every right to go for the ball. Well, he's usually not so confident in his catches. He's more spectacular when it comes to those flying saves, Cowan. But this one went straight at him with a lot of venom too. And at the second attempt, he managed to get it right. And finally, Faris Ramli finding some room behind the Thai defense, which is starting to get wobbly. Good jump by Sharil, ahead of Sarach. Haris. Faris, who switched flanks with Sahil. Sharil, lovely ball played behind for Faris. Khairul Amri's in a lot of space. The first touch lets him down though. But once again, the Thai defense suffering from disease. Cowan is screaming at them to get back the moment Faris got control of the ball. But just that second where he looked up, Bernstanga appreciated that passage of play. But if Faris had just controlled the ball and had done much better with his first touch, Khairul Amri was in acres of space, waiting to finish it off and score his second of the tournament. That's a lovely reverse pass from Sharil Ishak. Oh, there we go. First touch. His own trickery defeating him. And now he needlessly gives away a free kick to Thailand. Nil-nil. Malaysia and Myanmar earlier on in the day in a match that was delayed by an hour due to a downpour. No such problems with the downpour here. It's the first match in the Suzuki Cup that's played with the roof closed. Safwan. Oh, miscommunication between Baihaki, Hassan and Safwan. It's not good news for Singapore. Kyatisuk would look at it and start twiddling his fingers right now and saying, okay, I've got that little twinkle in my eye. I know what to do. Kirati bundled away from the ball. I think Baihaki wanted Hassan Sani to be a bit more assertive when it comes to the shouts. Corner to Thailand, that's a much better delivery. Baihaki though climbs well, king of the air. Just wide. Hassan Sani will tell you that he had it covered anyway. Long-standing effort coming in from Pirapat Nochaya. One of 6 players from BEC, Terasasana, in the Thai squad. 21-year-old who had his first cap playing against China in Kyatisuk Sinamong's first game in charge of the Thai national side. Game, of course, which a lot of people have turned around and said that was the watershed moment. That was the moment where the whole Thai trusted Kyatisuk. 5-1, they won against China. Ball was always rising. Another disappointing effort at goal, this time coming from Sahil Suhaimi. What a last couple of years it has been for the number 32. The last time Singapore were busy winning the Suzuki Cup, he was playing in a junior tournament at Singapore's other stadium, the Jalan Besar Stadium. That same stadium where you saw the Myanmar-Malaysia game earlier on. He was playing in a junior tournament, the next Lions Cup, against the likes of the juniors of Manchester United and Liverpool. Scored against Manchester United, Sahil. And then he was put inside the Quartz Young Lions squad. Developmental squad in Singapore, playing in the local league called the S-League. He's gone from strength to strength. He's the top scoring Singaporean in this year's edition of the league. 10 goals. Smitey Mokhtar trying to shepherd that one out. The answer is no, says Thailand. Back they come yet again, storming down the flanks. They look so very dangerous when they're running. The wizardry that they have down the flanks, and they even have Chanatip Songkrasin to call from the bench too. Kyatisuk deciding not to risk him due to his little niggles. There he is, Mr. Sinamong, nicknamed Zico. But I'm sure if he brings back the Suzuki Cup, they'll change his nickname to God. Saiful Issa deciding to get stuck in, wins that header. It was his beauty of a cross. It was converted by Khairul Amri for the equalizer. And the left full back has possession of the ball again, trying to swing another superb one inside. Had a lovely shape to it. Trajectory was absolutely right, but Cowan this time decided to come out of his goal line to make sure that it got some treatment. Chapui side to Mongkon. Chapui fighting the run forward. Well defended this time by Safwan Barudin. An up and under which Saiful Issa couldn't complete. It's gone for a throw to Thailand. Kirati accused of backing in by the Iranian official. Faghani Alireza Mohammed has had next to nothing to do in this game so far. He is Kiao Sumbuk. Scored 6 international goals. All but one of those 6 goals have come in Bangkok. So he isn't too used to scoring on his travels. 15 minutes remaining of a pulsating football match here in Singapore. Singapore have the best defensive record in the history of the Suzuki Cup. Thailand have the best winning record and scored first until this man equalized. Sharil Chapui. Addison fighting Atit Dawsawang to move forward. Good work by Atit. Mongkon back to Atit. Tracking back was done by Sahil Suhaimi. Sure, German coach Bernd Stanger would remind his wingers about how the Thai fullbacks love to bomb forward. Must have made them mindful of it. Was that pulled down? It was. Referee was side by side with the play. Poor touch by Haris Haron. Thailand now have a free kick in a very dangerous area. Ever reliable Haris Haron is not used to giving the ball away like that, especially inside his defensive zone. Uncharacteristically poor touch from him. Just as much you have to give credit to PHAT Diprom for storming right in, being a real kleptomaniac and getting the ball away from Haris. And here they are with an opportunity to retake the lead. Sharil wants to get involved. Sharil Chapui, that is. PHAT Diprom is there too. Sharil Chapui runs over, the ball is deflected and it's gone just wide. Hassan Sani was just on a prayer then, and he looked at it and said thank you very much. Wall, PHAT Diprom, who won the free kick, so close to getting the go-ahead goal again. Great asphyxiation work from Faris Ramli. Krokrit. No nonsense is Madi Mokhtar. PHAT. Krokrit. Back to PHAT. Krokrit. It's in a dangerous position. Safwan Barudin didn't know much about it, but he made such an important block to that shot. Thailand is swarming the Singapore defense at the moment. Krokrit's got to go all the way back and gets the ball once again, putting it into space. Offside. Late flag that just went right up. That was a chance. Every time a ball has been played inside the penalty box of the Singapore squad, it's giving the German national coach fits. Goal scorer again, wasn't it? Mongkon Tosakari. And this was the free kick. It just went narrowly wide. Hassan Sani couldn't do anything with that deflection at all. PHAT Diprom. It's a good last 2 minutes from Thailand. Slowly exerting their dominance and pressure in this game. Dusted themselves off that shock of conceding the equalizer. Sahil and Faris Ramli have switched flanks yet again for Singapore, trying to cause some mayhem and confusion in this Thai squad. So at the moment, a lot of their work has been defensive. So Krokrit couldn't get the ball round. Krokrit, Sharil, good work from him. Haris Haron keeps it alive with a very smart pass, and a smart turn it was as well. Equally smart turn by Khairul Amri. 2 smart turns from him. The Singapore goal scorer ensures that possession is kept with the Lions. The War Elephants, though, are on the warpath. Shadan refusing to even challenge for that ball. Chapui, Mongkon. Played in behind the defense, but not enough swerve and shape on the ball to trouble the goalkeeper. Can't recall a save made by any goalkeeper. Maybe just the shot by Faris Ramli, saved by Kawin. Safwan. By Haki. Lovely ball to Khairul Amri. Yet again, they got in behind the Thai defense. This time it was cleared by Adison Promrak. Amri appreciates that pass. And he took it down almost perfectly. There we go, an immaculate touch. Just couldn't take it in his stride. Looks like a player in form, doesn't he, Khairul? Always wanted it on his right foot. That's exactly where he beanbagged the ball down. Baihaki joins the offensive ranks with Safwan Barudin. Sahil with a corner, it's got good flight on it. Kawin was watching it all the way. There we go. Man who's kept 15 clean sheets this season for his club side, Muang Thong. With an easy catch. Safwan to Baihaki. Haris Harun wants the ball changed at the moment. He's claiming that the ball is a little flat in its surface, telling the referee all about it. Hardly see that happening in a football match. Here's Haris Harun. Hasn't been able to boss the midfield the way he usually does. Safwan. Faris Ramli, good run around, wins a free kick as well. Legal challenge on him by Atit Dao Sawang. He's got the ability just to have defenders falling all over their feet and falling down in patches whenever he runs at them. We haven't seen much of that yet in this match. Saiful Issa has already given a quite perfect delivery from almost this position for Singapore's equalizing goal. Now it's a dead ball situation. Let's see what he can do with this. It's hit very long, way too long though. Well, he's shown with that assist for the equalizer that he's capable of much better than that wild swing with his left boot. The FIFA Rail rankings have you believe these two sides are the lowest teams. In this competition this year. Singapore ranked 161st, Thailand ranked 165th. Just goes to make a mockery those FIFA World Rankings to have Thailand ranked that low, the lowest ranked Southeast Asian team competing in the Suzuki Cup. Can you imagine that? The lowest ranked team are the hot favorites to win it. Well, the highest ranked team had a victory last night, Philippines beating Laos by 4-1. We saw a real stormer of a game between Vietnam, who looked very good, drawing 2-2 with Indonesia. Malaysia drew 0-0 with Myanmar earlier on. A match that you saw live right here. And at the moment, these two teams drawing 1-1. Charles Chapuis hasn't been able to influence the game with his incisive passing just yet. Up and under, which Ismaili Mokhtar clears. Albeit a little dangerously because it goes right across the defensive line. Khairul Amri was fouled. Just a defender who hasn't been happy with the way Khairul Amri has been running rings around him. Adison Promrak is the first Thai to be booked in this year's Suzuki Cup. Well, that's just frustration. If someone's coming in on you and having the better of the game between you and him at the moment, once in a while, That's what you have to do. Just go charging right into his back, hoping to get away with it. He got the first one right. He couldn't achieve the getting away with it part. The 21-year-old finds himself in the referee's yellow book. Is that a foul throw? Certainly looks like a foul throw from Atit Dawsawang. Referee allows it to go on. Prawin Watbunyong. The ball again from Sasha Yuyun. Sharil Shapui wants it played into his path. Decides to go all the way back to goalkeeper Kawin. 5 minutes remaining of this first half. We haven't seen the up-tempo, fluid football that Thailand are so famous for. Khairul Lamri had the option of letting the ball run under his feet because Faris Ramli was just behind him. Sharil Ishak tried to drop it on a dime for Khairul to run onto. Such a difficult pass to make. In the end, Khairul didn't have the pace. Neither had the ball had any sort of hamstrings to hold that one up. Sharil Shapui out to Atit Dawsawang, youngest player ever to play at the Thai Premier League. Back to Sharil. Ismani Mokhtar has had a decent debut, you have to say, in the Suzuki Cup. Gets the ball back from Sharil, Tampines Rovers player. One of 3 on the pitch tonight. Of him, Saiful Isa, of course Sharan Sulaiman. Here's Safwan Barudin. Forced to hit long due to the Thai pressure coming forward. Sharan wins it on in the air. Sharil Ishak's got time now on his feet. Oh, the ball that's played behind was well watched at the end. Almost fell right through for Khairul Lamri. Good work that time by Adison Promrak. Sarach. Anywhere would do by Safwan. There's space opening up right now for Sahil. Sharan trying to just curl it into the path of Khairul. Somehow it's reached Khairul, who stayed onside. No, he hasn't. It was a cheeky finish as well, trying to punch it past Kawin. But he had the opportunity right then to check across the line and keep himself onside, because Adison Promrak, who's been all over the place tonight for Thailand, was caught yet again wandering in a wanderlust. There he is. He lost that first ball, he committed himself and couldn't get back in time. Was this offside? No, it wasn't offside. It wasn't offside. It's a poor decision coming through from Kim Yong-ha, the Korean third official, your Korean assistant referee. Baihaki has got to watch. He's already on a yellow card. Doesn't want his Halloween to come late, because this has been a nightmare for him so far in this first half. And he's got to watch. Gives away the free kick. I don't know what he was arguing about. There certainly was a clip on Prakit. That certainly was a free kick. Probably the only case he had was that he had taken the ball way too far anyway and wouldn't have got onto it, even if there wasn't a clip on his wings. Talking of Baihaki having to watch, the Singapore defense now have got to keep vigil over this free kick, which is poorly taken. The set pieces from Thailand have been a real mess tonight. Sahil decides against the long ball, punted up front, gets it right back again from Sharil Ishak. Sahil caught in a cul-de-sac, there's no room around. 2 minutes of extra time added on to the 45 that we've had in the half so far. Haris calmly plays it into the path of Saiful Isa, who does likewise. Not a very good ball by Haris Harun. Sarachuyen. Mongton. Sharil Shapui. Exquisite tackle from Safwan Barudin. Timed that one perfectly. More needed from this Thai side, from Kiatisuk, especially from Sharil Chapui in the second half. He's played in a more withdrawn role at the moment, and they need him to be creatively busy. And not just busy with those legs. Is that a foul throw that's given by Fagani, the referee from Iran? Finally, someone's punished for an illegal throw. It's a free kick that's given to Singapore. Winding down the first 45 minutes. Saiful Issa, the creator of the equalizer, encouraging his teams to go forward. Ball played behind the Thai defense. Yet again, they're found wanting. Very vulnerable to it. Khairul Amri will try to settle for a corner. He doesn't get it, but he does get the ball back and sets it up for Faris Ramli. Shot was always going wide. He was shuffling his feet before he struck the ball. Showed a little lack of confidence in taking it first time. He didn't have time to lose a weight as well. It's Khairul Amri. One to the corner. Almost got an assist. PHAT. Saiful Issa jumping, losing. Safwan's allowed the ball to bounce, which is always dangerous, and thankfully the referee agrees that Kirati Kyasumbut was actually tugging on his jersey. And that'll be the final piece of action in this first 45 minutes. It hasn't been the breathless football that we've expected whenever Singapore meet Thailand in the Suzuki Cup, but we've had goals. First scored as early as the 10th minute of play after a defensive lapse from Baihaki Kaizan. A ball slapped in from the number 12, Prakit Adipom, finding Mongkon Tasakrai for the opening goal. 10 minutes later, a delightful cross from Saiful Issa, finding the head of Khairul Amri for the equalizer. Both teams haven't created much. Goalkeeper hasn't been able to work much from either side, and it's 1-1 at the break. Wherever you're watching this from in Southeast Asia, welcome back to Singapore and the new Kallang National Stadium. Thailand at the break, 1-1 with the Lions, who had to come from behind and have already made a substitution as we see the number 23, Zulfahmi Arifin, coming into the field of play. He's a player who can spray those passes with that crafty left boot of his. Let's see if it makes a huge difference in their squad. We'll pick out, at least try to pick out who he has replaced at halftime. But 1-1, a fair reflection of what went on in the first 45 minutes. A lot of these Thai players making their Suzuki Cup debuts, and they looked very tentative in the first 45 minutes moving forward. Not the same sort of swagger that we've seen Thailand, especially from those same players that appeared in the Asian Games. There he is, Zulfahmi Arifin, playing in his second Suzuki Cup. He's one of 16 players in this Singapore contingent, and he is replaced by Haki Kaizan, which only means that Haris Harun most likely will go at the back to partner Safwan Barudin. And by Haki's horrific 45 minutes has come to an end. No chance for him to make amends. He's had a spat recently with his national coach Bernd Stange, who accused him of not defending properly in a friendly match against Macau, which ended in a 2-2 draw. Tonight it was an elementary error that led to Thailand's opening goal. Back come the Thais. Sharil Shapui moving forward very quickly. Sasha Yuyen trying to get his foot onto the ball. It's a sliding challenge that adverts the ball out for a throw into Singapore. Once again, treatment to a Thai player who haven't made a substitution yet in this match. So Bernd Stange has already ruled the roost and made his intentions very clear. Safwan Barudin colliding as always in the wars against the war elephants. Defending imperative in this second half for Singapore. Thailand have never scored more than 1 goal against Singapore in the Suzuki Cup. And the Lions will hope that statistic remains the same. So far, only Philippines have notched a victory in this 10th edition of the Suzuki Cup with a 4-1 win against Laos yesterday. Haris Harun, no nonsense for him, anywhere would do. Strong clearance up front, picked up very quickly by Thailand. Sasha Yuyen out to PHAT. Haris has got to abandon his centre-back slot to go up to deliver sort of resistance. Yuyen yet again from Thailand. Not the best of passes. PHAT tried to keep it alive, and this will go out for a goal kick to Singapore. That goal conceded in the first half from Singapore, just the 40th that they've conceded in the history of the Suzuki Cup, making them, of course, best defensive side of the tournament. Sharil Ishak trying to add on to the 6 goals that he's already got. Khairul Amri getting the equalizer, has got his 8th in the Suzuki Cup history. Safwan Barudin springs on his legs. Sharil Shapui being brought down on a couple of occasions. Whenever he's played up front, just behind the front man, in a couple of games, especially in the friendly wins over Philippines and New Zealand, Katisuk Sinamwang has noticed that he's been tightly marked and isn't able to operate with his creative cells as much as he is, and that's the reason why he's played in a more withdrawn role tonight from his coach, side by side with Sarach Yuyen. And Sharil Shapui is someone who does cover a lot of ground. So they're missing tonight is those incisive passes that he is very capable of giving, as he's shown in the Asian Games, creating goals for his teammates. Will he depart the pitch momentarily just to receive treatment? Is it time for Katisuk to make a change? I'm sure he'll be watching very carefully and waiting at least for a couple more minutes, right up to the hour mark, before he brings those changes. just like it was in the first half. The first 5 minutes of the second half sees both teams just trading punches, testing each other out. Safwan, now the Minister of Defence for Singapore, with the departure by Haki. Long surging ball, easily snuffed out by Adison Promrak, who was given a horrific time in the first half by Khairul. He's offside though, Khairul Amri. He's caught in slumberland for a while. Wasn't active in play when Faris Ramli picked the loose ball up. Another poor pass hit out by Prawinwat Bunyong. Stepping out right in time was Adison Promrak. Kawin Thamsachanan made his debut against Singapore in the 2010 Kings Cup, and here he is 4 years down the road, the captain of the squad, the goalkeeper. It's one of two players, remember, in the starting 11 that played against Singapore in that 1-0 victory the last time these two sides met in Bangkok in the second leg of the finals. 1-0 victory, not enough to give Thailand the title that day. Here's the other guy who played in that match and scored as well, Kirati Kyaosumbut. Mongkon, lovely ball played inside. It's a chance for the stinger. First flying save needed from Hassan Sani, and he didn't let the Singapore crowd down. Great variation. Everybody expected the cross to be floated right inside. Instead, he just dragged it right initially onto the path of Dao Sawang. Instead, went all the way back for a stinging shot by Sarachuyan. We haven't done too well with the delivery so far, Thailand, from dead ball situations. Here's Sarach. Cross that's hung right up, asking one of his players to attack. Safwan Barudin, very dangerous, high foot. The Thais wanted a free kick. The referees decided on a throw. It's a poor cross, easily cleared by Safwan. Dangerous ball that's played back to Hassan Sani. He's good with his kicks, but he doesn't appreciate that pass at all by Faris Ramli. Here we go, Hassan from Faris with no love. The switch of play was accurate. Took some time though to get the ball down. And it's great hustling by Sahil. Khairul stepped right up Adison just to clear the danger out. Interception was timely. Saiful Issa. Haris Harun with time on the ball. Ties for the very first time, not pressing high enough. Haris's pass could not find its target. Flying Falcon Faris hasn't really gone on one of those surging runs just yet. Shadan. Saiful. Down the line for Sahil to chase. Created enough of a danger for Achit Dasawang to force the Thai right fullback to put the ball out for a throw to Singapore. Saiful Issa, who can launch these long throws inside the penalty box, decides against it because they don't have the firepower or height to trouble the Thais up front. Sahil, that's all he could do. There's no space there. There's more space in the prison cell than there is down that corner flag for Singapore. Thais ensured that they were cramped out of it. Sasha, Saraj Yuyen, caught dwelling on the ball. Great work by Sharil Ishak. Bernstanger loves this pressing game that Singapore play. He's tried to instill it in the team since he's taken charge a year ago. Zulfami, composed. Sahil. Safwan. This is danger. Thailand are trying to attack the loose ball. And Haris was forced into just clearing a real up and under. Faris taken away from him by PHAT, who's always in control of that situation. Prakit is playing in almost a free role as a second striker tonight. Prakit Dipom. Pass was too straight, easily read by Saiful Isa. Here comes Sharil Ishak. Sharil. All the options to his right, including Ismaili Mokhtar. Here's Faris Ramli. Back to his right full-back. Back to Haris Harun. Just pinging the ball around, trying to lull the Thais. Toying with them, trying to get them out of their defensive shells for springing on the attack. They've got Faris Ramli on the ball. Good trickery from him. It looks like a foul. The assistant referee didn't flag it. The crowd didn't like it. Play goes on, and Thailand are on the counter-attack, which they live and breathe by. Mongkon gets a corner. They don't have the 1.9 meters frame of Baihaki Kaizan inside the penalty box for the second half. But Safwan Barudin was born with springs, and he's got a real leap on him. So that's one there to combat the Thais. But the shape of the team have to be very disciplined and organized. Much better delivery from the Thais. That looks like a foul yet again. The Iranian official says play on. Are the Thais going to put the ball out of play? The answer is yes, sportingly. This looks very nasty at the moment for Khairul Amri, and that's not good news for Singapore because their goal scorer is down, clutching his head. It looks very painful. Would have been his 6th Suzuki Cup tournament. Khairul forced to miss one of the tournaments 2008 due to injury. He's had an awful history of injuries through his career, but whenever he's fit, he's always been called upon and he's always delivered for his country. That's another message from Adison Promnak to Kyatisuk. Goes right down, clutching his head. Both these two teams with the best win percentages in the Suzuki Cup. Thailand with 59% of wins, Singapore 54%. The Thais have got such a stellar record. They failed to get out of the group stage only twice. This, by the way, the 4th time in the Suzuki Cup history that 2 finalists have been drawn together in the same group. It happened in 2000 when Singapore and Vietnam were drawn in the same group. And then 2008, the 07 finalists, Singapore and Indonesia, were drawn in the same group. And the last edition, of course, Malaysia and Indonesia were drawn in the same group. And on all 3 occasions, only one of them has managed to get out of the group stages. It is the very first time that the previous 2 finalists have met in the opening game. Opening match of the group stages. And when the draw was made, this was penned down as the delicious, mouth-watering clash of the group stages. We haven't seen scintillating football that reputable players have promised us so far in this match, the same way that we did between Vietnam and Indonesia last night. That one was really, really hot stuff. Sharil Chapui, all the way back to Nguyen. Chapui played the safe route. Uses Arisan. And here is PHAT. Good challenge by Ismaili Mokhtar. Felt that he won the ball cleanly. Krokrit had other ideas. Wanted the referee to blow his whistle and give the card to. This time the challenge is clean. and legal. Chapuis, Shahril Chapuis. Safwan Baroudin yet again with a saving lunge. Mongkon, no way around Saiful Issa. It's too wily for that. Mongkon wants the ball. Just been thrown by Artit right deep inside. This falls right into the lap of Singapore. Shadul Ishak says chase that to Khairul Amri. It's much better and clearer play by Pravin Bhatt. Yuyen. Artit. Back to Sarat Yuyen. He's never going to find the boot of Krokrit. Might be a time for substitution now for the Thais. And it will be Adisak who will come on for Kirati Kyaosumbut. Once again, no goal for Kirati outside of his home country, Thailand. And Adisak Kraison, who is as prolific as they come. You hear the cheers coming from the Thai fans. They all know the goal-scoring record this boy has. He scored against New Zealand recently in the friendly. And at the Asian Games, he was right on form. Adisak Kraison, 5 goals at the Asian Games. Scored 1 in the SEA Games last year as well. Quite a clever ball that was played through with the outside of the boots from Sahil, who gets the ball back from Saiful. And that's another clever pass. Faris Ismaidi came off a Thai lace. It's going to be a throw for Singapore. Both these teams really are at the stage of the match where they fear conceding the next goal, and you can see it as well. The tentative way that they've been playing with each other. Saiful Issa is the next to come off for Singapore. There's Shakir Hamza, Bernstenger, opting for a little more pace and physicality down that left back slot. Can play as a centre back as well, Shakir. We thought that that would have been the perfect replacement for Baihaki Kaiser, but he went off at half time. Instead, he's brought on Zulfami Arifin. Couldn't get onto that ball. Here's Shahril Chapuis. Zulfami, though, runs back well enough to ensure that possession is kept with Singapore. Khairul, told by his teammates that he had time to turn. Sahil. Shadan, back to Sahil. Shadan. Oh, lovely ball by Shadan. Shahril! Uncharacteristic air shot in the end by Shadul Ishak. Odds-on favourites once the ball was played in, and this was put on a dime for Shadul Ishak. Had 2 options there: take it first time past the goalkeeper. He decided to take a touch and waited for it to sit. By the time it did, that was a swipe, a wild swing at it. Closest we've come to a goal in the second half, in what has been shut up shop time. Straight down the throat of the Thai defense from Safwan Baroudin, gives the ball back right away. The Thai defense have looked fallible at the moment. It's just all at sea. And it's as shaky as you'd get. It's the turn of Thailand to unveil Messi J. That's what he's called. He'll take the place of Prakit Adiprom. Here he comes, the star of the team. The big boys have come up to play right now. This is Chanatip. Song Krasin. playing in his second Suzuki Cup, used sparingly as a substitute at the last tournament. He just turned 21 last month. 4 goals this season for his club side, BEC Terosasana. 2012 Thai Premier League Young Player of the Year. And this broadcast is being watched at the moment by some scouts in Europe as well, because we hear that there might be an offer for a trial in Hamburg in Germany for CｈANATIP at the end of the year. He's already had 2 trials which he's rejected from the J-League in Japan. But they're watching him very closely. Zulfami, Ismaili. Zulfami. Haris. Well, they played themselves out of that tight situation pretty well at the moment, Singapore. Sahil happy to settle for the throw. But this is where the Thai team will try to step up the gears now and try to push themselves onto 6th gear in terms of their pressing game. Bernstenger wants the team to be a lot more compact. First touch for Adisak. And it results in a free kick for Thailand. Adisak's wriggled himself clear. Chance now. Oh, the ball just didn't sit down enough. Safwan Barudin waited until it fell nicely and neatly into his path before he made the clearance. Sarach Yuyen. Atid. Safwan. There he is, Air Safwan, current Minister of Defence, and he's marshalled it pretty well so far in the second half. But they've got new arsenals on the pitch now. Sarach. First touch for ChANATIP. It's a disappointing pass to Adisak. Easily into the path of Hassan Sani, who hasn't had much to do. He has had the best chance so far in the second 45 minutes, Sharil Ishak, and really should have put the Lions 2-1 up. Bursting through on goal, a wild swipe. Shapui couldn't keep ball in play. Halfway through the second half, Thailand slowly beginning to assert themselves into this match. Singapore have been living a life of luxury so far. Quick, nice feet, shuffling by Faris Ramli. 3 players though stealing the ball away from him. Tries to get it right back. Adisak gets the beating of Haris Haron. ChANATIP, still ChANATIP. So hard to shake him off the ball. ChANATIP. It's onside. There's our minister. Says the Singapore boys, as Safwan intercepts another cross inside the penalty box. Well, he's been brought with just one thing in mind, ChANATIP, wreak havoc on the Singapore backline, and that he has done already. Much more forceful with his runs. Ismaili Mokhtar, no-nonsense clearance. Give Singapore some time to settle and get themselves organised at the back. PHAT, nice ball inside. Poor finish in the end though by Messi J. ChANATIP Songkrasin. Just had a slight little niggle on his way travelling down to Singapore. Because of that, didn't get his starting place, but what an asset to have coming off the bench, isn't he? Cairo slowly tiring out. It's a thankless task up front, running a solo game by himself. Here's Chanatip trying to skip past the tackle. Two players converging on him. Singapore get the ball back. Sahil Suhaimi. Too high for Faris. Crowd getting a little impatient here. It's the Lions giving the ball away a couple of occasions now. Whenever they've had possession of it. 20 minutes of the game remain. It's much better TikTok football now from Singapore. Sahil with some space. Head down though, wasn't aware of the surroundings, and Thailand now break. Ball's played in. Hassan Sani's got to be very sure of that. He usually is. And Safwan Baroudin's shouts went right up at Sahil Suhaimi for giving the ball away needlessly when he had options beside him. Zulfami's ball was taken down expertly by Faris Ramli. Played it behind the defense. The Thai centre-backs confused at the moment with the run of Khairul Amri. Faris, Sharil Ishak's inside the penalty box. Here comes Faris Ramli. Marshalled off superbly though by Prawinwat Bunyong. This was the moment. If he just had the burners and the sparks coming out of the heels, Harisak Kraisom would have gotten to the ball ahead of Hassan Sani. Harisak, cultured touch. Safwan there yet again. Safety first. Thailand throw. Safwan wins another one in the air. Clever ball by Zulfami to Khairul. Faris, space opening up in front of him, decides to give a ball inside. Khairul got a lucky deflection of his heel. And that's a superb pass to Sahil. Keeper had to scramble. And Kawin got down to it, just not enough power behind that shot from Sahil, but it was on target, at least what Kawin thought it was. Khairul Amri's just been causing heartaches and heartbreaks to this Thai defense. And there he is setting up Sahil Suhaimi. Confident to take a strike at goal. Yet again, the ball dropped behind. Sees a Thai player in an offside position. Sahil seeing a lot more of this ball in the second half. Sharil Ishak with a chance to craft open something. He decides to give it to Faris. Angle was acute. He was never going to beat Kawin there. Just stood his ground, spread eagled himself and made himself huge at the near post. And maybe that pass from Sharil, if it was hit with the outside of the boots, would have a more angled opportunity and shape for Faris Ramli to take that shot. But this was a clever ball. The moment he had it, he knew, and he was waiting for Faris to run, and he wanted the ball back from Faris Ramli. But Faris went for goal. Got net, but just the side. It's that stage of the match now where you feel the next goal might just be the winner. Onside. Haris Haron has kept Adisak onside. No, says the Korean assistant referee Kim Yong-ha. Flag went up straight away. Largely untroubled so far in this match. Hassan Sani. Just that one save of note to make from Sarach Yuyen. And Thailand throw in their final dice. Sutunun Fukom takes the place of Pravinvat. Deciding to go with a little bit of experience here. Fukom, who'll be 27 in 5 days. Playing in his second Suzuki Cup. Missed the one in 2012, but he played in the 2010 edition. Fresh legs to deal with the threat of Khairul Amri. Sharil failed to shield and protect. Here's Adisak. Krokrit. Chance for the shot at goal. He was travelling, just like Sahil's effort earlier on. Don't know whether Sarach Yuyen's effort would have been on target, but Hassan Sani took no chances. Happy to concede the corner. Well, it's been a circumspect second half. And we're going into that zone where it is becoming intriguing. Sharil didn't know that he had that much time to bring the ball down before he made the clearance. Got away with it. Thailand have played the ball around neatly. This is pretty at the moment. Is there an end product to show for it? The answer is no. Stout defending from Ismadi. Krokrit. Adisak. Layoff was a peach. That touch from Sarach though wasn't. Khairul knew exactly where Sharil Ishak was. It's not a bad ball that was played inside. It's got to be cleared though by Thailand. Well, that's exactly not what he planned. Wanted to nicely play it back to Kawin. We've seen in the match yesterday against Vietnam, sometimes youthful qualities exist in the fearlessness, but not with those back passes. It was hit very nervously and it's resulted in a corner for Singapore. Kawins looked confident, claiming those high balls launched in the box in this match so far. He's got to deal with another one. The partisan crowd sensed something here. Sahil tries to work something out with Khairul. It's hit to Safwan Baroud in zone. And at last came off the Singapore defender for a goal kick to Thailand. .11 minutes remaining. Still 1-1. Goals scored in the opening 20 minutes of this game. That number 11 there, Mongkon Tasakrai, giving Thailand the lead. Khairul Amri becoming just the 5th player in Suzuki Cup history to score in 4 different editions, with his 8th goal in the Suzuki Cup and his 3rd against Thailand in this tournament with the equalizer. The odds are not against Thailand at the moment. Remember, Singapore have never lost a match in which Khairul Amri has scored, and Thailand have never scored more than a goal against Singapore in the history of this competition. Khairul's taken that ball down superbly. His pass didn't match it though. Sutinum Fukom stuck his foot out at the right time. But that was magnetized to his right foot. Couldn't say the same about the pass and the layoff. Had the option to use it as a decoy as well, the run from Shakir Hamza. Here is Shakir. Khairul wants the ball, he's in the penalty box. He's hustled himself to get possession of it. He's kept it, lovely turn by Khairul Amri. Taken away, Saraj will clear it. Haris Harun, a little too strong in combat against Arisak. Free kick Thailand. Will that be a booking as well to Haris Harun? Well, they've got to watch. Baihaki is the only player to be booked from the Singapore team, and now Haris Harun was such an important element to the Singapore side. Goes into the referee's yellow books as well. It's a tournament that hasn't been very kind. It's a real booger in the career of Haris Harun, the Suzuki Cup. He was injured in the 08 and 2010 edition, and then in the last tournament he went off injured as well. It's almost as if he suffers from Suzuphobia, but he battles right back. He's always been such an important ingredient in the way Singapore set up and play from his defensive midfielder zone, which he has vacated in order to play as centre-back side by side with Safwan Barudin in this match. Treatment required for Thailand. A couple of their players have gone down already. Kyatisuk Sinamwang. He joins Tim Min Ong, Prak Savanalai, Saksana Savadi as players who played in this competition and have become coaches of their team. He wants to be the first to win it as player and coach for those Thai supporters. Shot of the Singapore bench. One more substitution to make. Will it be Khairul Amri, who's run his legs ragged down to the ground already, coming off? You'd suspect not, because if there was any way for Singapore to pinch a winning goal in this match, Amri would be hot favourites with the form that he's in at the moment to do so. It's onside. It's kept in play as well. Yes, it's kept in play. Very well done by Shadil Shapui. Singapore have got to watch. Adi Saks control the ball brilliantly the first time, but Haris Harun was very alert to the situation. Thailand won a free kick. They thought it was a back pass to Hassan Sani. Referee says play on. Well, that was half a chance for Adisak Kraisom. Superb centre forwards play, making sure that Shadil Shapui's efforts didn't go to waste. At touch, magnificent, but Haris Harun was watching it all the way. Shakir Hamza's ball easily snuffed out by Sutinun. Gives the ball away needlessly. Zulfami, Khairul trying to tee it up for Sahil. Sharan Sulaiman. Sahil's gone down injured. They're going to play on though. No, they're not. It's turn of Singapore player to receive treatment on what has been a humid day here in the Lion City. Innocuous challenge. Sahil takes the fall for it. Hasn't been a bad debut in the Suzuki Cup for him. In fact, the three players who've been given their Suzuki Cup debuts haven't let the coach down. Neither has he in his first start in the Suzuki Cup. Mongkon Sasakrai, who scored the opening goal of the match, only to be cancelled out by some magic from Saiful Isa and Khairul Amri. Kyatisuk Sinamwang. 5 editions he was involved in the Suzuki Cup, winning 3 of them in 96, 2000, when he was named the most valuable player of the tournament, and of course 2002, the last Thai player to lift the Suzuki Cup. He ended a barren run for them at the Southeast Asian Games, and the Thais are hoping that he does it for them too. at the senior level in Southeast Asia's biggest football tournament. It's a fiesta and a carnival that's hit all of Southeast Asia, wherever you are watching us on this, the final match of the opening round of matches in the Suzuki Cup. Philippines, just to remind you, have won yesterday by 4-1. Vietnam drew 2-2 with Indonesia. Malaysia earlier on had a man sent off in their 0-0 draw with Myanmar. And here it is, 1-1 between Singapore and Thailand, heading into the final 5 minutes of this match. Gabriel Kwak ready to come on for Singapore, most likely to take the place of Sahil. The Lions down to 10 men at the moment. They will get their full complement of 11 now, with Gabriel joining the fray. He too gets a Suzuki Cup debut, and he was part of the squad, of course, that lost to Thailand in the semi-finals of the SEA Games, where he was only given the last 5 minutes to try to impress, just as he has here. You can't win the tournament in the opening match, but you certainly can lose it, and it looks that way at the moment, as these two teams don't want to suffer the ignominy of a defeat in the opening match. Sharil loses that one in the air, but Singapore keep the ball with the throw. Khairul, once again, good hold-up play from him. Not the best of touches from Zulfami. Shakir, defensive clearance. Gabriel stolen the ball. And Sharil tried to do likewise, but failed to do so. Here's Saraj Yuyen. Mongkon. Mongkon's got Sharil Chapui outside of him. Uses the Swiss-born international. Was that handball? I think it was. It's a penalty to Thailand. In the dying stages, Ismari Mokhtar has turned around at his teammate and said, "Did you have to do that?" The Thai celebrate. Well, the last 3 times they played in Singapore, it has featured a penalty on each occasion for Singapore. Twice in the Suzuki Cup, once in the Asian Cup qualifiers. This time it's gone the other way, and it's a penalty for Thailand. Sharil Chapui steps up to the ball. It was his cross that won the penalty, and it came off the arm of Safwan Barudin, who couldn't get it out of the way. He's been so solid up to that point in this match, and now Thailand have the opportunity to win this. Hassan Sani's heroics have to be called upon now for Singapore. Sharil Chapui puts Thailand ahead. The first time that they've scored more than 1 goal against Singapore, and it's probably given them 3 points yet again from their opening match. Sharil Chapui, who had a quiet game up to then, given a license to join in the attack a lot more in the second half down the flanks. His cross created the penalty, and he dispatched it with all the confidence in the world. Singapore found an equalizer 10 minutes after they conceded the first goal. They don't have the luxury of that time because there's only a minute left, plus whatever time the referee decides to add on. It's poor control by the Thais. Khairul Amri's got the ball back. It's not the best of passes, but it's handball, and the referee spotted it as well. So a quick riposte probably from the Young Lions now. Bernd will believe that his charges have done enough to clinch a victory here. But they need this to sail in order not to lose this match. Saiful Issa usually takes these free kicks, is not on the field of play. 5 added minutes. Straight at the goalkeeper. Easy save for Kawin. Thamsachanan to make. Faris Ramli wriggling himself clear. Adisak. Krokret. Adisak's angled his run superbly. He wants a penalty. Thought that Haris Haron obstructed him. PHAT. Shakir Hamza wins it in the air. Safwan Baroudin trying to atone for his error. Moves forward right now. Wins the free kick. Well, whenever they're behind the 8 ball, they've always pushed Safwan Baroudin forward, and I'm sure Bernd has given the instruction for the number 21 to push as far forward as possible. He is in the penalty box, waiting for a good delivery. Challenges with the goalkeeper. Kawin yet again judged that one expertly. Three minutes remain of the 5 added. What a superb kick that was from Kawin to find Krokrit. Haris. Shadan. Poor touch by Ismadi. Going to be a free kick for Thailand. Haris was too physical on Adisak. Kyatisuk's version of the Glenn larceny. Wants his charges to be a lot more compact and needs the concentration now to get this over the finishing line for them. Wasn't the best clearance in the world. Khairul Amri picks it up. Good work by Khairul. Clever ball. Faris. Oh, Safwan Baroudin found himself in some space and it was hung up long enough for him to attack. I think they've won a corner as well, have they? No, it's going to be a goal kick. Desperately wants that goal to make up for that handball error. Sharil. Faris. Safwan pointing the way yet again. Zulfami, not enough height behind that delivery. Good control from him though. Shakir. Haris Harun. Ball's broken to Gabriel. Gabriel easily defended by Sutinum. Free kick for Thailand, exactly what they needed. And they're going to waste some time now. And Thailand have done it. They've broken down some barriers here in keeping their unbeaten record in the opening matches of the Suzuki Cup. Sharil Shapui scoring the winning goal from the penalty spot after a handball from Safwan Barudin in the final 2 minutes of the match. Khairul Amri, it's the first time Singapore have lost when he scored in the Suzuki Cup. He got the equalizer after Mongkon Tasakrai scored the opening goal of the match. Thailand have won it by 2-1. They now go on to face Malaysia at the Jalan Besar Stadium on Wednesday, while Singapore will play here against Myanmar in a must-win match for the Lions now. Final score from the National Stadium, Singapore 1, Thailand 2.